Hello, hustlers. We are talking self-love today. This diamond tattoo that I have was something that I got a few years ago before I met my husband as a tribute of marrying myself. And I do believe, this self-love club we've created is healing, and it's the foundation for our power, as well as a critical nexus in creating the relationships that we want, romantic or otherwise. So I really was in a place when I got this tattoo that I was doing a lot of exploring in terms of like who I wanted to be, both professionally, personally. I was starting to think about what my future family would look like. I knew I always wanted to get married, but I had not really hadn't had luck in relationships. And I thought, okay, well, if this dating thing isn't working, then maybe I need to go inward. And the self-love that I discovered, catalyst being running, cycling, strength training, journaling, and really starting to like grow my own wings, started with the process of marrying myself first. And that became a beautiful foundation for when I did meet my husband. So I'm going to answer a few of the questions that y'all submitted. Try to keep this short, but feel free to comment below additional questions, additional thoughts, additional opinions, your own experiences. Of course, I am a sample size of one, and I'm just giving y'all my opinion and my experiences on the self-love journey. So one question. First question, how to regain your identity after getting out of a long-term relationship. So this question hit home for me because I actually signed up for my very first marathon, the New York City Marathon in 2010, as a result or after a breakup. And I had only been running a little bit. I'd never even run a half marathon before. And I thought, I'm going to sign up for a marathon. Here we go. So that became unexpectedly a true catharsis. It was like I was running through pain, and I didn't know that reaching a 26.2 finish line would be so incredibly empowering. But you marathoners know, nobody can take that power away from you. So that is how I personally regained my power. I recommend for folks when they're going through any kind of upheaval, a breakup, or any kind of life transition, when your ground is shaky, you need to create your own foundation. And that foundation might be taking a very serious look at your habits, your rituals, your inner thinking. It might involve recruiting help, like like a spiritual ally or a therapist. We don't have to be like one woman. We don't have to be one woman soldiers or a one person wolf pack. The independence that you realize and the confidence that you discover in that journey doesn't necessarily come because you've done it all alone. Oftentimes it comes from saying, hi, I need help. And for me in that journey, it was definitely leaning on, of course, my girlfriends and my family, but also folks in the running community. I was brand new, and I was welcomed with open arms, and people really taught me how to use this new passion of mine in a way that established a new purpose. So when somebody's going through a breakup, I think taking stock of what you do every day and how those actions speak to the world. It kind of establishes a mirror, and you have to look in that mirror and feel really good about yourself. And if you don't feel good about that, about yourself and how your actions are creating a story worth telling, then that's the first step. And it's not an easy step. This inner work is like real, and it's a lifelong pursuit. It's a lifelong pursuit. Even after you're married, it's a lifelong pursuit. How did you find peace being single and avoid pressure to constantly search for a partner, i.e. pressure from friends or family to settle down? Thankfully, I never received that pressure. My mother, my family, they were never like, clock is ticking, like what's going on? Never. I know that's not everybody's experiences. I I never felt pressure. I really, truly never felt pressure to like find a man, find a boo, ball and chain, all that. I think that's such bullshit. But my inner calling, my inner voice always said like that I wanted to be a mother and have a family and have a partner in that journey. But when I was a lawyer in my 20s, I always had in the back of my head that I would be a mother no matter what. And that even if I was going to freeze my eggs and do some kind of creative donation process and find a partner, or without a partner, have a family. So that was always like in the back of my head. And I there's such a difference between being alone, between solitude and loneliness. And that exploration between solitude and feeling okay in that solitude and loneliness was something I really had to unpack for myself. And I think when I was pulled or a little bit maybe even jealous of folks in seemingly, you never know what's going on behind closed doors, but seemingly happy relationships, I realized that I had to like fill my own cup of loneliness, and that I wasn't necessarily wanting just to go out on random dates and waste my time. I wanted a partner. And so I had to find that fulfillment in other things. And for a long period of my life, that fulfillment really was, things like going to Burning Man and creating that community for myself, the running community, the community of Peloton, of course, and like just knowing that even if I'm in a whatever square foot apartment in New York City by myself, I still have people who care and building a value system that I'm really proud of. So that's what I focused on during that time. And thankfully I didn't have external pressures. But for folks who do, I would use your voice. Use your voice even when it shakes, because nobody is owning the pen to your story but you. And if I were to guess, those folks mean well, because they're equating your happiness as it relates to being tethered to another human. But I think what folks misunderstand is that you really have to find that happiness before you're tethered to that other human. Ooh, happiness is an inside job, that is for sure. How long were you single before meeting Drew? I was single for a few years. I think I was single for about 3, maybe even more, even longer. And same for him. We had both been single for a few years before meeting each other. Ooh, all right. So let's start talking about self-love and confidence. Body image. Do you ever struggle with this? And if so, how do you deal with it? I mean, that's unpacking like hundreds, if not thousands of years of social conditioning and misogyny and all kinds of stuff. Woo! Thank the Lord for Lizzo, right? But for real, we all have body image stuff. The most beautiful person that you can imagine, supermodel, athlete, celebrity, whatever, has moments when he, she, or they look in the mirror and think, ew, right? So yes, I have those moments for sure. A lot of my confidence and a lot of my self-love keeps coming back to, lacing up and picking up weights and getting on that bike, because it's hard to look in the mirror and not have a semblance, even a sliver of pride after you've slayed a workout or PR'd a lift or ran a marathon. Like, I look down at my thighs and I'm like, yes, you have stretch marks. Yes, there's a dimple here or there, but like, you ran 100 miles straight. So when we're having those body image moments, which are completely human, I really look in the mirror and I try to recall, like I call it like a superhero movie, and all of y'all should have a superhero movie where you think back to those moments, even if it's the smallest little thing of like, I got on the yoga mat today, or that one time 10 years ago when I felt really confident of XYZ. It doesn't even have to be a physical sports thing. Just a time when you had confidence and used your voice and stood in your power. I will literally stand in the mirror in like a superhero pose and sometimes bang on my chest and try to remember those moments, because those memories are our fuel. those memories cannot be taken away from us. Nobody can take away your finish line. And that's what I love so much about that little superhero movie. They can't take it away from us. Even if they want us to shrink and move and look in a certain way, they can't take away our superhero toolkit. It's too strong. How do you take a weakness or failure as an opportunity to do better? Failure is feedback. And in the moment, failure sucks. Failure doesn't feel good. Like it's like taking a bite of something that tastes nasty. Like in the moment, you're like, ew. But if somebody told you that thing that you that tasted bitter was going to nourish you because it was going to strengthen your backbone, and if you are doing the inner work of thinking, are my actions aligning with my values? Is my value system creating a story worth telling? Is my value system informing actions that create a story that I'm proud of? It's all in a loop. The failure is in perspective. And as long as you're not living in that bitter place, as long as you're not living in the place where you're feeling, self-pity is poison. So I think that we have to take the failure, learn from it, move on. New day, new moment, keep it moving. That's hard. That's hard to do, especially for something that you really, really wanted or cared about. But we're survivors. So put it into perspective. If you zoom out, think about like when you zoom out on a website or a map, zoom out. The thing that you thought was like the worst thing ever, if you are in the middle of a breakup right now, I promise you zoom out 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, it's going to be a much smaller moment. It's going to be a much smaller moment than it feels right now. Do you continue to work on self-love while married? What does that look like for you? Yes. I think for me, with my amazing husband, I found somebody who supports my passions and loves and respects who I am unapologetically, and I him. And we carve out time for the things that made us who we are before we met. And of course, we have a lot of interests aligned. We both love fitness. We both love movies, so those things, there's synergy there. But especially for the folks who are, dealing with kids and family life, and that is not something that I can speak to, but I have heard from caretakers that it's possible to lose yourself. So hold on to something that reminds you of who you are, even if it's for 10 minutes, because that self-love allows you to give more to everybody else. All right, last few questions. Oh, last question. Here we go. And this is something I want y'all to answer. What are 3 things that you love about yourself? We live in a society that is asking us to shrink and bend and contort in ways that it makes us feel small or makes us apologize for using a voice. And that stops today. That stops with us. It's okay to have that self-love. It doesn't mean you're selfish, especially if you're aligning with values in community. Using your voice, even when it shakes, gives somebody else permission to do the same. And I think as long as we're allowing that cacophony of voices to be loud, even when someone is different from you, that doesn't come from a selfish place. That actually comes from a selfless place. But it takes courage and it takes bravery and it takes examples of bravery. Damn. So 3 things that you love about yourself. Let's give each other permission to stand in our power. So I'll start. 3 things I love about myself. I love my courage. I know I'm courageous. I know I am brave. So I love that because that has opened up a lot of beautiful experiences in my life, and I hope has created opportunities for others to do the same. I love my laugh. I try to laugh, belly laugh every single day. It's actually something that Drew and I, it's like a pact that we've made, that we will belly laugh at least 1 time a day. And we do. Almost 4 years, and we've belly laughed every single day. And the 3rd thing I love about myself is my loyalty. I will throw down for my people. I will throw down for my people. I am loyal. So, those are 3 things I love about myself. I am sending you love. If you are having one of those days where you are not feeling yourself, write one thing down. Write one thing down. even if you don't really feel it with gusto, tomorrow is a new day. Love ya.